Unfortunately, we didn't get all the way. We didn't get to something that ultimately made sense for the United States of America. We are certainly closer today than we were 36 hours ago, and we were closer then than we were a month or two before that. So real progress was made.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo today on the progress with North Korea despite the abrupt end to the summit. Pompeo was sworn in as the 70th Secretary of State back in April of last year after he served also as the head of the CIA in this administration. He recently sat down with me to talk about his journey from first in his class at West Point to our nation's top diplomat. This is his untold story.
When I was a very young lieutenant, I would have been 22, maybe 23 years old. I conducted my first patrol along the East German border. That was my mission. I was in a cavalry unit, and I had my cavalry platoon. And I remember going out and seeing the border. I'd prepared, but when you saw what it looked like on the other side. It was the then East Germany and a little bit of Czechoslovakia, both under the control of the Soviet Empire. You could see evil. You could literally see the freedom that was being denied to the people on that side of the border. You could see that these fences and dogs and towers, and they would fly Mi-24 Hind helicopters along the border. You could see they were designed to destroy the liberty of their people. They weren't aimed at stopping us from attacking. They were aimed at denying the freedom to the people of East Germany and Czechoslovakia. I could see that evil, and that shaped my life. I see that here as Secretary of State. I understand that there are people who are intent on good and those who are truly aimed at destruction and evil and corruption. We have to call it out when we see it, and America has a responsibility to protect itself by pushing back against those evil nations and those evil leaders who intend to do real harm to the world.
So flash forward to today. Who are the most evil actors out there today who have those kinds of visions and designs for their people?
So you see it most clearly in the Islamic Republic of Iran. That is, they are exporting in a way that few other nations are. They're trying to deliver that revolutionary Islamic zeal, not only inside of their own country, but now exporting it to Lebanon and to Syria and to Iraq and into Yemen. That's true evil. When it's not enough to put pressure on your own people and to deny them their freedom, and you want to go out and export that and do that to others outside of your own nation, that's true evil.
How important do you think your own military background is to the work that you do and understanding the sacrifices that are made by our people in uniform when they are called to be on the ground overseas?
And Martha, I'm always reminded, as America's most senior diplomat, I saw the return of 4 great Americans who were killed in Syria. I'm always reminded that when we have an incident like that, it was a diplomatic failure, that we didn't do our task sufficiently well. If we're good, if our team is out everywhere trying to solve these problems through political resolution and making deals with other countries and sharing American values in a way that will reduce conflict, if we can do that, boy, we'll have to put a lot fewer of America's young men and women in harm's way. I'm very mindful of that. I remember my days. I was never in combat. I served in Germany and then in Fort Carson, Colorado. But I have lots of colleagues who fought in lots of America's wars, and I'm very mindful of what they go through, what their families go through, and it always impresses onto me the enormous responsibility we have at the State Department to make sure that we put fewer Americans at risk.
Secretary Pompeo, thank you very much for your time today. Good to see you.
Thank you, Martha. It's great to see you as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.